Hi, I'm Greg Mail, and welcome to this edition of our VLGA's Good Governance Matters series. In this video, we're going to look at what you can do if your council relationships start to become difficult or strained. As a councillor, you are close to finishing your second year and approaching the halfway mark of your term. So how are things going? Are things starting to become a bit challenging in your council? Are you feeling this year is not as exciting as last year? Or perhaps it's a bit more complex? Dynamics within the councillor group can often change, sometimes with little or no warning. So what can you, as a councillor, do to ease some of the pressures or prevent difficult situations from developing? Given the way local government operates, it is inevitable that there will sometimes be conflict. However, from a good governance perspective, it's the way that any conflict is addressed that's important. Good, robust debate is part of local government, but the focus should always be on the issues, not on the personalities. When it comes to behaviour in the council chamber, there are proactive things you can do. This includes modelling constructive relationships and showing personal respect for one another at all times. Understanding key elements of good conduct is also needed for good governance, and it's important to have sound processes to manage behaviour. The Code of Conduct helps local government spell out what is good conduct and good governance. It also provides standards to which councillors must adhere. A good process for understanding your Code of Conduct is to allow councillors to think about what they mean by terms such as courtesy and respect. As a councillor, you can then agree on a common understanding of such terms. Each council has developed a code that matches its specific circumstances. Some councils have a relatively simple code of conduct. Others have chosen to elaborate in greater detail their expectations about good governance. Some councils also include detailed procedures in their codes of conduct. These are used to deal with internal disputes between councillors, if these ever arise. It is important that you have read and understood your council's own code of conduct. This knowledge will also improve and strengthen councillor relationships. The VLGA suggests 4 key actions you can take. Talk to your colleagues. Often the most effective way to diffuse tension is simply to have a conversation. Talk with your councillor colleagues about the issue. Ensure you've got all the correct and necessary information and that you have a full understanding of other people's points of view. When you finish your conversation with a colleague, make sure that both of you have defined and understood the other's position. Acknowledge that not everyone thinks or feels the same. It would be boring if we're all the same. It's vital to acknowledge and appreciate that we're different in how we think, what we feel, and what we believe. Different opinions lead to robust debates about an issue from different angles. When this is done respectfully, it is healthy for local democracy and the good governance of our local communities. Accept that your colleagues may have different perspectives on many issues. Be clear on your position. Tensions can sometimes occur because your position is unclear or not understood. Have a conversation with your colleague. Let them know how and why you feel about a certain issue. Changing your position on an issue is fine as long as you communicate the reason for your change. Agree that it is fine to have different opinions. It is fine to disagree on an issue and to have healthy debates. But it's not good governance to show unwarranted displeasure or bias on a colleague's particular issue or point of view. Maintaining your own stance, but also accepting different points of view, is professional and responsible. It can help foster a good collegiate relationship. So what are some key points that we need to consider? Regular conversations with your council colleagues is important. Debate is healthy, but stick to the issue. It is fine to have a different point of view. Don't hold grudges. Work on your relationships. Remember your code of conduct. This should set out a process to help you resolve any disputes. Contemplate a mentor. Finally, the VLGA is available to provide you with confidential advice when difficult situations or circumstances arise. Don't feel that you are alone when difficulties arise, or that you are the only one who is experiencing challenging times. If relationships become tense and even unworkable, contact the VLGA for further advice. The VLGA can also assist and introduce you into a councillor's network. We hold a number of events and development programs that may be of interest to you. So call the VLGA on 03 9349 7999 if you have any further questions or need our assistance.